As regional bank stocks were plummeting, some went bankrupt. Bitcoin increased from 19,000 to 30,000. What was that? That was a flight to safety. Well, our focus is on, at ARK Invest, has been on actively managed ETFs and other wrappers focused exclusively on disruptive innovation. ARK Invest Europe is similarly minded.
ARK's focus on the pending U.S. crypto ETFs comes as the firm's other main priority is bringing its existing non-crypto innovation strategies to Europe. Last week, the company acquired thematic fund specialist Rise ETF Limited, giving the firm an entry point into that market. To talk about the future of ARK Invest in Europe, among other things, today we are joined by the well-known founder and CEO of ARK Invest, Cathie Wood. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has on Tuesday, September 26, 2023, took a decision to delay the ARK Invest 21 shares spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund filing. This could effectively narrow down any chances of a spot ETF approval within 2023. A message from the SEC on ARK Invest filing reportedly said, notice of designation of a longer period for commission action on proceedings to determine whether to approve or disapprove a proposed rule change. James Seifert, ETF analyst at Bloomberg Intelligence tweet reads, the SEC just came out super early and delayed the ARK Invest 21 shares Bitcoin ETF filing. This thing wasn't due for a decision until November 11th. During the interview, Cathie expressed her belief that once institutions receive regulatory approval, particularly from the SEC, there will likely be a substantial increase in institutional involvement in Bitcoin. Let's direct our attention towards the few clips from interview.
We are very optimistic on Bitcoin. One of the markers or milestones this year that I think surprised everyone was in the United States, we had a regional bank crisis in March. And Bitcoin, as regional bank stocks were plummeting, some went bankrupt. Bitcoin increased from 19,000 to 30,000. What was that? That was a flight to safety. One of the reasons regional banks and most banks get into trouble is counterparty risk and depositors fleeing them. If you think about crypto assets and Bitcoin especially, it is completely decentralized. There's no counterparty risk. And it is completely transparent. You can see the movements by IP address and see where there might be trouble brewing. It's a giant neighborhood watch, with a lot of people involved. This involves their livelihood. So we think it's very robust. And when institutions get the green light, and I think they're waiting for the SEC, I think that we're going to see significant participation in this new asset class by institutions. The active equity ETFs, ARK Invest in the US will continue to manage, and ARK Invest Europe will manage the ARK indexed thematic strategies, and they also will distribute for us. So we think it's a win-win.
The big news within the ETF space is that the American asset management firm ARK Invest, which specializes in disruptive innovation, has acquired Rise ETF, a London-based provider of thematic and sustainable trackers. According to Cathie's analysis, when they examined their research subscribers, they found that 25% of them were based in Europe. However, despite this significant interest from Europe, they did not have any specific investment strategies or offerings tailored for the European market. According to a report, the European ETF industry is highly concentrated. The 10 top promoters in Europe held 93.25% of the market as at June 30, 2023. During the interview, Cathie also mentioned that since 2014, ARK has had a strong emphasis on the artificial intelligence revolution. Their research has primarily revolved around identifying other entities poised to experience significant success in this field. Let's direct our attention towards the few clips from interview.
Well, it's been very interesting at ARK, practically since the beginning, when we monitor who the subscribers are to our research, which we give away free. we have found that 25% of them are from Europe, but we didn't have any strategies to offer in Europe. And so we have been looking for quite some time, and we found this gem hidden inside of AssetCo. And the DNA was just right. They're thematic, they're futures oriented, mega trend oriented, and it seemed like a great fit. Well, judging from the responses to our research, I think the appetite is there. And I also do appreciate, certainly we're learning a lot from our new ARK Invest Europe team, that Europe is different. Different countries have different kinds of appetites for different strategies. I know, for example, Valerio, in your Italy, there's a huge appetite for thematic, perhaps in other areas not. So we're going to leave it to them to direct us in the right places. Well, our focus is on at ARK Invest has been on actively managed ETFs and other wrappers, focused exclusively on disruptive innovation. And ARK Invest Europe is similarly minded. We don't think there are enough strategies out there that are focused on the future in the ways that we are, grounded in original research. We see a lot of strategies that are somehow flavors of broader-based benchmarks. And we think that the world of technology especially is moving so quickly that it will be very difficult for the benchmarks to keep up. And I'll just give one example. It took the S&P 500 in our country until Tesla reached $500 billion for the S&P to allow it into its index. $500 billion. There are not many companies bigger than that. And yet, in the case of Tesla, we think it has miles to go.
On September 20th, ARK announced it had acquired London-based Rise ETF to assist its push into Europe. The SEC was scheduled to rule on all 7 applications by September 4. However, the regulator postponed by 45 days, meaning the 7 firms will now have to wait until mid-October for a decision. May this put the hammer down for any hopes of an ETF approval this year? That wraps up our conversation for today. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you found this information valuable, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel to stay informed with the latest news and videos. Thanks for joining us.